Welcome to tutorial 1 for Photoshop CS5. First thing we're going to do is launch Photoshop CS5 from our computer. What this tutorial is going to do is going to help us learn how to cut out an image and change the background behind the image using a simple photograph. Your first step is going to be downloading the pictures from the website. Once you have them saved to your assignment files folder, you can go to File, Open within Photoshop, navigate to where you have your folder on the Z drive, Computer Core, Assignment Files. You should have saved the flag. I'm going to hold down the Control button to make a multiple selection. So I selected the flag and Lincoln, and I'm going to hit Open. That's going to open both of my photos in two separate windows. Essentially, for this tutorial, we are going to take the flag and put it as the background behind the Lincoln statue. Your first step, as in most edits, I want you to get in the habit of right-clicking and duplicating your layers in the layer palette. Now I have a background and I have a background copy. I can use the eyeball to turn my background layer off. I could use the eyeball to turn the background copy off. The checker box represents a transparent background, and that's what we're trying to get to before we import the flag into this document. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the copy. I'm going to try some selections. Okay, one is the magic wand tool. If I hold down here, select the magic wand, I can click. Notice how it's selected a good amount of the black region behind Lincoln, but it also cut into his head. It's differentiating between the light and dark colors. In this instance, the tolerance was set too high and it ran into Lincoln's head. So I'm going to go ahead and select, deselect, change my tolerance down to 15 and try it again. Notice how this time I made a good outline around Lincoln and it got most of the black space in this region. I'm then going to use my lasso tool, hold down here, find the lasso tool. I'm going to use the shift key. Notice when I press the shift key, a plus sign with the lasso appears. This means I'm going to add to my selection. I'm going to click and circle around the top and release shift, hold down shift again, click and circle around the left side over here. Now I got a nice good selection of the Lincoln head. I'm actually going to modify my selection by going to Select, Modify, and I'm going to feather my selection, which will tighten it up to Lincoln and get rid of a lot of the black space that you can't hardly see unless you zoom in. So I'm going to feather it by 3 pixels, hit OK, and then I'm going to strike the delete key to get rid of my background. And I'm all through. I go to Select, Deselect. If I had my background copy on, notice how the black didn't disappear. So you have to make sure your eyeball is turned off on the background layer. Now that you have the black background gone, you're going to click on the flag image. You're going to right click, duplicate the layer. This time you're going to send it to a different destination, changing it from the flag to Lincoln. You can change the name to flag and hit OK. Now if I go back to the Lincoln image, I have a flag, a background copy, and a copy. The flag's right over the top of Lincoln's face. So if I click on my Move tool and use Control T for transform, okay, and then in the top corner of my box, if I use Control minus, I can zoom out, hold the Shift key to keep the proportionality of my image, expand my flag nice and big, however I want it to look. Again, Shift keeps it proportional. If I don't hold down Shift, notice how my flag becomes distorted, and we don't want that. So if you mess up, click the Move tool, hit Don't Apply, Control T, and try again, using Shift to keep your flag proportional when you make it large. So you get the flag to where you like it. That looks pretty good. I'm going to hit the Move tool, Apply, Now I'm going to click on my background copy, click and drag it above the flag, and now I have, if I Control plus, zoom in, I have what's called the Lincoln tutorial. Taking the Lincoln statue and putting the flag as its background. When you're all through, please File, Save As. In your projects folder, save it as a JPEG, as last name Project 4A. Hit save. OK. And then also File, Save As in your projects folder. Go ahead and save it as last name Project 4A as a .psd file. Okay. And that completes tutorial 1 in Photoshop. If I check my projects folder, I should have 2 images, one a Photoshop PSD file and one a JPEG of my flattened Lincoln tutorial. We will turn all 3 of these tutorials in together, so please just leave it in your projects folder for later submission.